So what happened this past week in the housing market up here in the Jacksonville metro area? Well, that's what I'm going to look at. That's right. We're going to see if that bubble finally burst. What do these housing prices do? What the interest rates are doing? I look at all that. Hey, this is Bubble Watch, and I'm in Season 2, Week 1. That's right. Last week, we just completed 1 year of Bubble Watch. That's right. 52 weeks. That's where I look at the prices of homes, what's sold. I look at also what's pending. I look at also what's existing for sale right now, the inventory. Also look at those new home sales. Also look at the interest rates, headlines, and a whole lot more. Hey, stay tuned. I'm going to get to all this in 3. Hi, I'm Tom Kerr, and I'm your host of this show, Bubble Watch. That's right. Hey, you know what? I'm just a regular guy who happens to be a real estate agent up here in North Florida's Jacksonville metro area, and I cover all the facts and figures. That's right, I look at all the real numbers in real estate. Because I'm a realtor, I have access to an MLS system, and I share the back end of that with everybody once a week. And so what I'm going to do is I take all those numbers I show you, I put them into charts, look at those charts, we compare them with the last few weeks and see where we're at, and see if we can catch that trend to where that bubble's just about to burst, or is things on the way back up, to try to help you make a decision on whether you want to buy or sell here up in the Northeast Florida area. That's right. Now this Jacksonville metro area consists of about 9 counties in here. As you can see on this map here, we've got here in the Northeast Florida area, we've got this makes up the Jacksonville metro as Baker County, Union County, Bradford, Clay, Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, and Putnam counties. And I'm going to put them all together in the charts for you here shortly. Hey, you know what? After watching this video, if you'd like to use me as your real estate agent to either buy or sell up here in Northeast Florida, just give me a call at this number right here. And now let's get to these to this MLS, the back end, and I'm going to start off with those active listings. All right, here we are in the back end of the Northeast Florida MLS system, and we're going to start off with those active listings to see how many homes are active right now for sale. 5,371. Okay, now we go to see how many sold in the last 7 days. This last week, 502. All right, now we look at how many are in contingent taking backup status, and that is 950. And what that is, those are homes that are under contract right now. Next, we're going to look at how many of those homes that were contingent taking backup turned into pending in the last 7 days. We got 749 pending. So those that are contingent taking backup and those that are pending status, those are all homes that are under contract right now. But that doesn't guarantee that they're all going to close, okay? And they're not going to close at the same time. Some of them can close in a couple of weeks, some of them could be like a few days if they're in pending status, and some of them could take a few months depending on what they got going on. All right, let's look at the rest of those numbers. Okay, next we're going to look at how many homes were withdrawn. These are people that took their houses off the market, and in this last 7 days we had 65 that withdrew their listing. All right, let's see how many listings expired in the last 7 days. 117. And now we're going to go look at those new homes. And we want to see how many new homes sold in the last 7 days. That is 82. And how many new homes are available right now? That's active listings of new homes. 1,580. All right, now I take all those numbers, I'm going to put them in an Excel spreadsheet, clean it up, make it simpler so that we can look at the chart and follow it back from the previous weeks to see if we can see this trend. And starting today, okay, week 1 in season 2, I'm going to be adding a few things to this Bubble Watch, and I think you're going to like it, especially when it comes to the numbers, when I can do some comparisons, and you'll see why I started season 2 on week 1. All right, first let's go see what those interest rates did this last week. Okay, here we are on the 30-year fixed, and we saw last week we ended at 6.49, and boy, nothing but red arrows after that going up. Ended the week here at 6.82. Okay, let's look at the VA mortgages because they're generally a little bit less. VA mortgages here, a little mixed bag there with the arrows. What was 6.12 last week and ended up at 6.44. And then let's look at the FHA. And the FHA was at 6.12 last week and ended up at 6.45 for this week. So we've seen that these rates definitely have jumped up. And that brings us to a headline. All right, here we see mortgage rates now at 2-month highs, okay? So here they say it may not be a death by 1,000 cuts, but mortgage rates are suffering a bit of blood loss from roughly 5 cuts, especially in the last 5 days. All right, now I look at a few graphs, and the first graph I'm going to look at is that price per square foot. That's where we follow this and see, that trend on the price per square foot. How's it going? It's shot up a lot the last year and a half or so, but it's been going down slowly, but it has been going down. It stopped in a few places, dropped, stopped, and dropped again. So let's see what it did these last few weeks. All right, here as we look at the price per square foot, let's go into the 6-month where we watch this slowly step down. And you can see that we're at 186 again here for the 3rd week in a row, 186. We saw it it goes in these little steps here, 3 weeks there. Here it was 5, 3 weeks there, 3 weeks up there, but again, we're 3 weeks. All right, let's look at the graph next to it, and that is the inventory. All right, let's look at this, go 6 months out here, and we see that inventory is still continuing that slope downward, okay? So that is going to be putting pressure on prices as the inventory is still tough. Okay, next we're going to look at the median list price, and let's look here, let's look 6 months up, and whoa, look at that, how it's climbing. Bottomed out here, and now it's starting to go up. Again, it's related to that inventory issue, but that's only part of it, because you've got the inventory issue, with less homes on the market, but then you've got more people, coming here wanting to look at homes here in Florida and in the Jacksonville area. In fact, here let's check out another headline that goes along with all this. Okay, the first one here is lack of existing home listings boost builder confidence. So what this is saying is they're looking at the existing homes, since that inventory is dropping. That means the builders now are in a better position, that they're starting to see their sales improve. What a difference a year makes, because just almost a year ago, this was the headline for builders. Home builders' confidence in housing market plummets, okay? And this was, okay, see, July of 2022, as you can see there. And then we look at another headline here, shows April single-family starts show improvement, okay? So there again, these are the starts, these are the new construction, so they're starting to go up. All right, now remember I said inventory is part of it and people moving in. And why are people coming here? And where? Well, take a look at this headline here. This is from U.S. News and World Reports. Check this out. This week, U.S. News and World Report unveiled its 2023-2024 best places to live, and a ranking of the country's 150 most populous metropolitan areas based on value, desirability, job market, and quality of life. And how does it rank here? Well, we didn't make it in the top 10, but when you look, now remember there's 150, okay, that go in there, and look at Jacksonville is 16, which is good, but then look at all the others. Look at Sarasota, Naples, Melbourne, Jacksonville, Tampa, Pensacola, Daytona Beach, Orlando, Tallahassee, all there, Fort Myers and all, but Jacksonville's number 16. Now I know there's a lot of you that probably disagree with this as far as, what they say on reasons that they pick that, but they're comparing it with the rest of the country. A lot of the people that disagree with that are people that live here, so when you're this close to it, if things have changed versus what they were 10 years ago or something, then, of course you're gonna, think that things have gone down, okay? But it all is relative to where you're coming from on what it is. And right now, this Jacksonville metro area is a desirable location. A lot of people moving here. Hence, we've got the lower inventory and more people, so we're going to see the higher prices. And now we're starting to see some new construction activity. Okay, now we're back to these graphs. Okay, we had the last one was the median list price. Now we're going to look at days on the market. Okay, and we're going here. We'll go to 6 months, and we see that's still falling. Okay, and so that's showing that there's still activity. And again, even in this market, we still have homes that are in multiple offer situations, not like it was before, but that still sell above list price. Okay, now let's take all these numbers and all, and I'm going to put them into those charts, and let's take a look at these charts and see where everything ranked. Okay, here we are. I've got this black line to separate season 1 from season 2. Season 1, we ended there at week 52 last week. So season 2, we start this week, week 1. Okay, as we can see, active, okay, is 5,371. So that has dropped a little bit from last week, but still up from the last couple weeks. Now we see solds, okay, 502. All right, we went up a little bit here, okay? We had that big drop, okay? It still isn't like what it was, the last couple weeks prior to that, but last week we took that big hit. So it's kind of stayed pretty much the same. We haven't seen it go down that much more. Okay, contingent taking back up, 750, a little bit fewer that are that went under contract. Those that ended up going into the pending status, 749, a little increase from that, but we're still down from the last couple weeks. Total under contract, 1699. Withdrew, 65. Okay, so there's a lot less have withdrawn over these last couple weeks. Expireds, 117, so we did see an uptick there, but still less than what we had the couple weeks prior. New homes sold, 82, so we're pretty much about the same as last week when we have that big drop. And new homes that are active for sale, now that has dropped to 1580, so a lot of new homes didn't go on the market in this last couple weeks. Now, the reason I started season 2, week 1, is because now that I've done this for a year, I started this Bubble Watch series because 1 year ago at this time is when the rates were starting to really take off. I think getting into the 5s, and everyone was freaking out like, this is it, the crash is coming. We were told it was going to happen by the end of the year. We were told it was going to happen at the beginning of the year. It didn't happen. A lot of people I know comment saying, well, it takes time because of the 2008 crash. You had the after effects going for a couple of years to 2010, which was correct. So we don't know what's going to happen. That's why I do the show, so we can follow it. But because I started it, now I have a real numbers to look at a year ago. Okay, so this, year over year, stats. We see them all the time with nationals and some local stuff where people give you these year over year stats. Okay, but we don't really see where everything comes from and all, and haven't been following it. Here, I've been following it in real time for all of you and posting it. So now this is what I'm doing, and we're going to be doing this every week now. I take here right next to the weekly numbers, I go ahead and I put in the year over year numbers. Okay, so you see here in this column here I have season 1, week 1, and now we can compare it with season 2, week 1, which is current. Okay, now this has the year over year for active listings. You see that this week is a 79.39% increase from where we were a year ago, okay? And solds. A sold a year ago was 584, so we are down 14% from a year ago, okay? Contingent taking back up, we're up 8% over a year ago. Pendings are down 10%, and that goes along with some of those headlines we see. Now, the total under contract, I didn't start doing doing the total under contract until later on in the season, so that's why you don't see a number there for year over year. Withdrawn, 1 week, it's less people have withdrawn, so that's down 14% from a year ago. The expireds has jumped 36% from a year ago. Now, new homes sold and new homes active. There's nothing in the season one because I didn't start new homes until later on in the season. I didn't start them in week 1. Now, something else I started, and we're going to show you, is where it's called MLS Advantage. And that's where it's a system that takes some of these smaller MLS boards that are up here in Northeast Florida, and there is cross-selling going on. So they come into the Northeast Florida MLS territory, and then some folks from the Northeast Florida MLS also sell over in those areas, which I happen to. I do cross over into St. John's and also into Flagler County, over in like the Palm Coast area, but it's all part of this 9-county things. So what I do is I show you the solds with that. So when we see the solds here where we're just over 500, okay, what's the big picture for all 9 counties when you include these smaller MLSs that cross-sell? So let's take a look at that MLS Advantage. Okay, here we are in the MLS Advantage, and we're going to hit the search to see what we've got for this last 7 days. And these are solds, all in the 9-county area. 695. Almost 700 sold in 1 week. So even with these numbers down, now we saw a couple weeks where we saw it like at 1,000. So, everyone's like, oh my gosh. Still, think about that. In this area up here, 700, almost 700 sold in 1 week. All right. Now, I've had people ask me, well, how many, were sold in the last week in, say, St. Johns County or Clay County, something like that. And so instead of, looking up all that, individual like that, this is something new that I'm incorporating here in season 2, is I'm going to show you through the MLS Advantage per counties what we got. And this is where the chart looks like for that. All right, here we go. I've got, season 2, week 1 for those sold. Baker County had 8. Union County had 1. Bradford County came in at 4. Clay County, which is just south of the Jacksonville area there, is 83. Nassau County, 45. Duval County, which is Jacksonville, the city pretty much of Jacksonville, so that's 248. St. Johns County, very popular area, 174. Flagler County, 98, and that includes over there the Palm Coast area. Putnam County, which would have Palatka down there, and that's 34, which gives us a total of 695, and they should add up to 695. All right, let's see now, how did people pay for these homes? Okay, here we are, season 2, week 1. Cash ended up at 30%, so up a little bit. Over the last few weeks, we haven't seen that since week 45 when we saw that like 33% there. Okay, conventional mortgages, 44%, up a little bit. FHA down a little bit to 13. At VA, 13, up 1. And there were so few of the others that they really didn't even register on there, so we show it at 0%. Okay, well, I did it again. I forgot when I was back in the back end of the MLS to look at those foreclosures. Okay, this is where I look at the ones that are in foreclosure status, short sales, and pre-foreclosure. And these are the ones that are in active, okay, the active status there that are for sale, that are in these different categories of foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and short sales. So let me go back to that MLS and let's look and see where they were at. Okay, actives, let's look at those that are in foreclosed. That is 25. Then those that are pre-foreclosure, 11. And those that are in short sale status, that's 9. Okay, as we look here, season 2, week 1, we've got 25 foreclosures, 11 pre-foreclosures, 9 short sales. which a total of 45, so we're down 2, so it dropped. Okay, it was up a little bit from the last few weeks before that, so but we're still about the same. So it really isn't, this foreclosure, nightmare has not materialized. People are still saying it's going to happen. I've always said that it's not 2008 because the people now have more equity, so a lot of people are selling their homes before they get to this point, okay? And then taking that equity and either getting something smaller, or a lot of times if they're behind in the mortgage and all, they might just go for renting, but they've got a nice pot to keep them renting for a couple of years till they build their credit back up and maybe purchase something else. And they're thinking that, oh, everything's going to crash anyhow, so I'll scoop things up when they're a lot cheaper. All right. The next chart we're going to look at is going to be the ones that sold below list, at list, and above list, and how many homes sold, the percentage of homes that sold for over 500,000. All right, here we look in season 2, week 1. We're at 24%, 500,000 and above. So that's just a little uptick. It's about the same. And actually, the others that sold under list, at list, and above list, I mean, these numbers all worked out to exactly the same as last week. That's incredible. I couldn't have done that if I tried. 68% under list, 17% at list, and 15% above list. All right, now let's take a look at the new construction and that chart. All right, here we got homes that sold under list in the new construction, 72%. Wow, okay, that dropped a lot last week, but now it's back up to where it was in the previous weeks, okay? Homes that sold at list, 12%. Again, staying about the trend from the weeks prior. And homes that sold above list, 16%. A little bit up from some of those other weeks, but a big drop from last week where it was 26 above. And where did it go to? It went to the homes that sold under list at 72%. All right, usually what's up next is the houses of the week. That's where I look at a house that sold above the list price and one that sold below list price, and see, and compare the differences and how the people made out that sold the houses. Did they take a beating, or did they fare well? But I get so many questions every week that come in from people, and then people that, when we're working a deal, when we're under contract, that now I'm going to add right here before we do the house of the week, I'm going to add question of the week. I'm going to mention one of the questions, and then I answer it, and it's just going to be short. This is just like a quick, just 30 seconds or so, and answer these questions real quick. And of course, if you want more information or more detail about a question, you can always call me. Okay, if you already know everything and you're not interested in the question, then you can just skip over to the house of the week. Okay, but this week's question of the week is, what is the binder deposit, and how much binder deposit am I supposed to give? Well, the binder deposit itself, it's when the buyer, shows that they're into it, okay, that they're interested in this house. They want to show that seller that they're going to put something up at risk, okay? Now, a buyer does have several different ways to get their deposit back if the deal doesn't go through. But once they've passed those contingencies and go on, then you don't get your binder back if you pull out of the deal. And this is what gives the seller a little bit more confidence in you. If you're willing to put up a bigger binder deposit and willing to lose that, that means you're somebody that's going to really interested in buying this house, and you're just not, shopping around. Because while all these contingencies are going on, that house technically is off the market, even though it's not. And I still show houses that are under contract in case they fall, because about 20% do fall through. But and I'll take a backup offer, but a lot of people still won't look at a house that's under contract. Now, how much do you put down? Well, you can put down whatever you want. You can put down $100. You can put down $20,000. I see the range. I see a lot of people with like a house that's $200,000 or so. You know, 300, they put down maybe $2,000. Some people, they like with cheaper houses, 500, some that are a little bit more. Or if they really want to, I've seen houses that were like, you know, 400,000 where people put like $25,000 down. I've even seen people put half down, okay, because they were so sure they were going to get it. So that's your answer to that. All right, now let's go house of the week, and we're going to look at the house first that sold below list price. Okay, this house here was listed for $445,000, was on the market for 55 days, so that's almost 2 months. They had reduced it to $435,000, as you see up here, and then it actually ended up selling for $395,000. So that one there was $50,000 below, and is that right? Let's see. There we were, $395, and we were at $445. Okay, that's right. But again, this one's worse than that because they ended up giving $7,900 towards the buyer's closing cost. Now, when we see something like this, where that $395, when they had reduced it already and it was closer, getting closer to the 400s, what could have happened with this, because it was financed, is the appraisal could have came down low. The appraisal could have come, you know, at $395 or something like that. And maybe that's why it's been on the market for 2 months, okay? And you know, these people probably thinking like, uh-oh, you know, maybe this one's not going to sell. Let me see. I want to look at something here. Yeah, in the remarks, because I kind of remembered this. Take a look at this. I mean, this really sounds like a good deal here. And it does have a swimming pool in ground. It has a pretty decent yard, and it says right here, move in stress-free with nothing to fix or work on. New roof, new plumbing, sewer, electric throughout, new windows, flooring, and of course the backyard and a screened-in patio. So I don't know, apparently maybe in the neighborhood this was, you know, over 400 was a little bit much, but I think a house like that, to me, I mean, you're getting it insured, you know, that there is a big deal. So that would have been a selling point for me to, you know, with a buyer, that this one here is going to get through the insurance with all that new, and you don't have to do it, literally turnkey. So that's pretty good. Let's see what these folks bought it for. Okay, they bought it in December of 1999 for $139,600. Okay, so they bought it before, you know, all those gigantic price increases, okay? They came up in 2021. All right, let's plug this into the appreciation calculator and see where they're at. Okay, this one here, the year I was thinking it was a lot lower. Okay, they bought it in 1999, okay? I was thinking more like 2019. I don't know. I just had it on my mind when I made that comment about they just bought it before to 2021. But these folks here have had it, you know, since 1999, December of 1999. Okay, when they bought it for that 139, okay, 600. And as you can see, now what I did, even though they sold it for $395, I take out what they gave in concessions, because that's real, because that was real cash out. And when they sold it, so they ended up with 4.45%, okay, per year, okay, which is a little low, because normal was like 5 to 6%. So they were close to, you know, what would be normal. Okay, this house here was up for sale for $399,900. Sold, was on the market 10 days, ended up selling for $425,000. Okay, this was a cash deal, and so we saw it an above list price of $25,100. Okay, so that was pretty good. You know, did they price it right? Did they price it just under that, you know, 400,000 to catch people to come in and buy it? Probably so. Okay, they probably knew it was worth over 400. They put it in like that. All right, let's see what they paid for it and what the appreciation was. All right, this one here shows the sale date of July of 2009, $40,000. Well, that's not the price of the house. That's going to be the lot. This was a new home because it was built in 2009, so they're not showing what they paid for it. But to get an idea, they financed it down here. It was a conventional loan at $150,000, so we're figuring it probably was $180,000 to $190,000 that they bought the house for. Since we don't know, but I'm going to plug in to the appreciation calculator with that, with a guesstimate, and just see where we're at. So if we put in $190,000 on the higher end with that purchase date there, showing that they had it for 13 years and they were at 6%, which is normal. You know, so with this downturn that we've had here, they really didn't take that. You know, of course they probably lost some from what if they would have sold it like a year earlier, you know, or more. But they still 6%. That's normal. Okay, they got it and they were happy with it. They got above. So I hope you like the way I'm doing season 2. Just let me know in the comments what you think. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe so you get notified when the new Bubble Watch video comes out, so you can keep up with everything that's going on in this Jacksonville market. Okay? Hey, until next week, I'm out of here.